morning. Our kids are all in school today.
Which is super exciting. Both of us
Super
had
exciting.
our youngest children start school
yesterday. But speaking of school, because we love school, school is great. There's also no such thing as too many
school supplies.
Do you guys like shopping for school supplies? I love shopping for school supplies. I shop the school
supply aisle before my kids were old enough for school because new pens always make me happy. I don't know.
It's like I get stuff for my kids, stuff for me. Yeah, mom needs new pens. Definitely my Sharpies are getting low.
Some coloring supplies.
Right? Woo! You need to mute your phone. All right, so.
Got it.
I love school supplies, but I like to keep them organized.
Pencil pouch.
I love a good pencil pouch. So today we're going to make a fun little pencil pouch.
Out of cork.
Out of cork, because I love cork. I don't have to quilt it. I don't have to line it. It's easy.
You don't have to bind.
And we got this sparkly metallic cork.
Rainbow metallic cork.
Right?
Really.
I mean, we've got the more subdued gold metallic cork, if the rainbow's a little much. But how fun is this?
So my plan here is to make teacher gifts for my kids' new teachers and to make them all a pencil bag and send them to school with a pencil bag full of chocolate. Because they're teaching my children and they probably deserve it.
They deserve bribery. Or at least some kind of love and appreciation.
Yes.
So we're going to make some. We're going to make one real quick and I'm going to show you just how easy this is. I'm going to move the oil out of the way. What do we need? We've got a 9x12 sheet of cork right here. We do sell it by the sheet because
it's expensive.
It gets expensive, but by the sheet it's like not bad. All right, so the size we're going to cut it to is because it's sold as a 9x12. I want it to be 9x11, and that's just because I feel like this bag is just a little too long. I made it out of a 9x12 because that's what I had. But having made it, I have a new idea of how it should be. So we're going to make it 9x11.
And I need to trim off. This was the beginning of the roll of cork.
Oh, so you've got the rough edge.
So I've got the not straight edge. And of course I only have a 6.5-inch ruler to square it up with because
such is life.
That's
all right. And I'm going to change my thread because our thread is going to show on the zipper. So let's have it match the zipper.
So we're going to use,
since Liz brought these 4 fun ones, we have matching thread.
Or at least somewhat coordinating thread.
It doesn't have to be the exact same color. You don't need to go out and buy a spool of thread. But, don't use pink if it's green.
So we're going to cut 1 inch off of this. We want it 11 inches. Yep. And I am going to use my mat as a ruler.
Because she's got a...
And this was actually a 9x13 sheet.
Oh, okay.
So I have a little bit extra.
That's okay.
But we're going to do something fun with the extra.
We're going to do something fun with the extra. Because, cork's expensive. Let's not waste it.
Yeah, why toss this? Nobody wants to toss that.
Nope. I had an epiphany on my drive over here this morning.
I brought fabric, but we're not going to use it.
So we're gonna play with my epiphany. All right.
I guess I'll get out the orange zipper.
So we will rethread this with orange thread because I haven't used orange thread in a bit.
We don't need to change the bobbin because it ain't going to show.
Nope.
So my gray bobbin is fine.
Unless your tension is terrible, in which case, fix your tension.
Unless it
don't
really
change
makes
your bobbin.
you feel good to have bobbins in a million different colors.
Right.
If it does, that's fine.
I do for some things. Or with quilting, I tend to use a similar color, but...
My trash can.
But like I said, if your bobbin thread is showing on the top, we need to fix your tension before we worry about replacing your thread.
Okay, so just FYI, these 9x12 sheets of cork retail at about $8.50. I think they're $8.49. The zipper is $2.99. So we've got about $11
into the bag,
into the project. But it's awesome.
It's awesome. It's going to be the coolest zipper bag. Okay, so all we do here, this is one reason I love the lace zippers, there is no need.
Oh, thank you. Mom brought me bigger rulers.
That's so nice of her.
She takes care of us.
So there is no need to really pin or do anything. All I'm going to do here is move stuff out of my way. And I have a leader ender because that's how I function. I am going to sew first about 1/4 inch from the zipper. So my foot is riding right up against the zipper, and with my fingers here, I can feel it, the cork being butted up against the zipper.
Not underneath it, just kind
of
butted up close
butted up to it. So I'm just gonna slowly but surely.
I'm gonna turn this other piece. Since
Yeah,
I
go
bought
ahead
new
and get them
rulers.
ready, right? And so I don't feel the need to pin this because pinning causes your fabric to bend. It distorts a bit. And so
And
I don't
cork
think
would
that's
really
going to help.
distort.
Yeah, and because cork is thick, it will distort. So I feel it's better to just slow and steady, okay? Slow and steady.
Now, if you really find the need to pin, use Wonder Clips.
Use Wonder Clips, absolutely. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is turn this around, pivot, and come back the other way, going right up by the zipper.
So
Not
it's-
directly next to it, but maybe split the difference, about 1/8 of an inch seam instead of 1/4 of an inch.
So what that does is it gives it that double stitching. If you have 2 needles in your machine, you could do that. But this is just going to give it that double.
But it also helps control the flange on both sides. All right. I don't know why it's only showing Liz
just
on the
showing me
Facebook
right
Live.
now. Is that?
No, that's you, honey. That's not me.
I know. Why is it just showing me?
I don't know. Can you
that
check the
camera okay?
Facebook line?
Okay, that's good. Maybe it's just me, my phone being weird.
I don't know. No, the Facebook Live is just showing Liz for some reason.
Woo, this is fun.
Okay, new problems. Okay.
If you can't see, here we go. We have the zipper stitched
Liz can
to
hold it up for
one
us.
side. Now we need to stitch the zipper to the other side.
All right.
To do this, we want to make sure we're going to unzip it, but we want to make sure it's in the right place.
Right.
Okay?
And so for this, what I am going to do is put I'm just going to put 1 pin in it just to get me started. It's not going to stay there. Oh, well, now we're
There we
all
go.
there. But now we see Aiden's finger. Hi, Aiden's
All
finger.
good. Thank you.
I don't know. I think Facebook is trying to be like smart and be like, ooh, we'll pop in. We'll come
zoom in
out.
for
We'll zoom
ya."
in for you. And it's like, stop it.
You're right.
Just stop it.
stop trying to be smarter than me.
Right. Just leave it where it goes.
Okay.
Thank you very
Sorry,
much.
guys. I haven't watched us do it in a long time, so I guess I'm glad I have
Technical difficulties.
phone over here.
On a bright side, it'll be on YouTube and it won't be like this later.
Yes,
So,
that's always the bright
so if you want to really watch how this is done, check our YouTube channel here in a little bit.
A few days, by the way.
Few days, not today, you know.
We like to give Aiden some time to edit.
Right. He's got other stuff to do.
If you guys don't know who Aiden is, he's standing behind the cameras right now. So,
You
saw his finger.
That's his introduction. That's great.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm just doing the same thing. I opened my zipper because this makes life so much easier. And that's also why I overlap it. So my pull is out over here a couple inches and out over here a couple, the end of the zipper is over here. I know I'm gonna cut it off, so there's no reason to start super close to one end.
What size do you want me to cut these?
We don't need to sew them or anything.
No, they
So
just need
like
to fold in half.
1 by 3 ish.
All right. Okay. So
we're gonna
normally we would make our pulls by our tabs out of scrap fabric, which is why I brought scrap fabric. And you want the tab because it gives you something to hold on to while you pull the zipper the other direction. I've made them without the tab, and it's slightly harder to open.
It's definitely harder to open.
So the tabs are good, but they're not necessary. You don't have to. And like I said, I just use coordinating scrap fabric,
Which is what I did on that bag.
But we are going to use our extra inch of cork that came off the end of the sheet.
Because why not?
Because it's 9 by 11, so let's use our extra.
Yeah, I was thinking about that when I was driving over here. I was like, wait a minute, we have extra cork. Let's make a cork tab. All right, so now that I've got both sides on, I'm just gonna zip it up again. And what I wanna do, the next step for any boxy bag here is to find the center of the back. I know where the center of the front is, it's where the zipper is. That being said, I wanna make sure that my zipper is flat on this end. If I have it twisted, I'm not going to actually find the center of the back.
It's going to be the cutest little pull.
So I have the zipper flat over here, and I just pinch to the back, find the back, and mark it. All right. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Oh, fun. Facebook's awesome.
Yeah, it's probably mine because I'm connected to Wi-Fi.
Oh, yeah, you shouldn't be on Wi-Fi in this
Shouldn't be.
house. Okay, so what we will do here is I'm going to start with this end, not the one with the pull, and I'm going to center my pin here on the back of the zipper. Oh, did it end for some reason?
Yeah, disconnected.
Oh, just start a new one. All right. So what I'll do is then I will take my tab here and I'm going to tuck the tab inside between the zipper and the back. So I have all of these layers together. That's going to be the cutest tab ever. Lay it nice and flat and sew a 1/4 inch seam all the way down. When I get to the zipper, I'm going to go slow and I'm going to back tack it.
Back tack. Reverse stitching,
Reverse
whatever
stitch,
you want to call
lock it in, call it whatever you want. But I back tacked over the whole zipper and pull tab because that's where the stress is going to be and that's where things are going to come apart if they ever do. I don't back tack on the beginning and ends because I'm going to cut those off.
Exactly.
So there's no point.
And say, we're doing boxy bags.
I'm going to cut all the corners right on off here in a minute. Now I've got the zipper sticking out the edge. No big deal. I take my scissors and cut it off. Done. All right, other side. Now this is the step to remember. My zipper pull is still right here. I don't want to cut
take
it off or sew it outside of my bag. That would be bad. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the zipper in.
Close just that little bit.
Just there. And then I'm still going to center my pull tab on the back because I have my pin here that marks center back. So I go ahead and I lay my pull tab on that and then center my zipper over that. It's a lot easier to do if it's laying down instead of holding it up to show people.
But
I know, it's weird. And then I'm going to just go ahead and sew another 1/4 inch seam all the way down there. If you want to use some wonder clips to help you hold all this together,
that
go
would
for
be
it. It's
the
not a bad
preferred.
idea whatsoever.
I would suggest that to a whole bunch of pinning.
Right. Definitely going to be better than pinning in this instance. All right, again, I'm going to just cut off the end of my zipper. And now I have a fun little bag. Oh, it helps if I take the pin out though.
Yeah, it
I was
would.
trying to cut off the pin. Didn't work, even with sharp scissors. Okay. Now, you could actually leave your little pencil pouch like this. It
And leave
would
it
be really
flat.
cute. I had a gal make some like that, and they were really adorable. Just a flat pencil pouch. But we're going to box it because
Why not?
I want to. All right, so to do a boxed bag, what we want to do is draw our corners. I'll give this back to Liz.
How big of a box?
Let's see, what did I do on this one? Do you know you can measure your box? 1 1/4.
Okay, so once again, we've talked about this before with boxy bags. This, we're measuring from the fold and the seam. I'm not measuring from the outside because it needs to be a square.
Right.
Okay, clear as mud, 1 1/4.
1 1/4. So we measure from the fold and the seam because it's the only way it works. You could make this a little more rectangular. I mean, it's already a rectangle, but a little bit flatter and a little wider by doing a 1 inch box. Either way is totally fine.
Yeah.
It's definitely up to you.
So I am not going to cut this using a rotary cutter because I don't want to overcut.
Now, this is kind of fun. I want to show them something before we cut. You can get an idea, because it's fun to play with the size of your boxed corners. I can already see how wide this bag is going to be when it's done, because I just look right here between
inside
these two
line
lines.
here.
If you're thinking, oh, that's more narrow than I want,
Bring in your boxes.
bring in your boxes. Make them a 1-inch box. It's totally up to you. It's your project.
Okay, I need these scissors.
Take the scissors.
We're going to use our super duper sharp scissors. The reason I'm not, and we're going to cut that box. The reason I'm not using a rotary cutter, you guys, is it's going to be really hard to stop exactly at that corner and not overcut. And then what I could end up with is a hole in my corners of my boxy bag.
Which would be unfortunate.
Yeah.
I prefer scissors that are sharp all the way to the tip for cutting boxed corners. Just because the rotary cutter is, I mean, it's a circle. It can be hard to know exactly where the blade is.
Then you end up trimming that corner anyway. So
Right. Right. You don't go far enough and you grab scissors anyway to finish
these
it
are the
up.
perfect scissors. We use them
Yeah.
all the time. They are super duper sharp, micro serrated,
Yeah, the K-Bucket micro serrated scissors.
pointy scissors, and so they get right into that point
I love them.
perfectly. So they're
All right.
my favorites.
And now we shall box. So what we do here is we find this tip over here, this fold, match it up with the seam. I'm going to go ahead and let this seam go downward because it's going to help square up the box. So I'm not going to try and open it up. I'm just going to let it go down away from the zipper. And then I'm just going to sew a 1/4 inch seam along there. Again, if you have some Wonder Clips, this is a great place to use them.
Yeah.
And I do back tack these corners,
Yes, because once
beginning
again,
and edge.
that's where the
That's
pressure,
where the pressure is going to come in.
It's going to end up on this bag. That's where the wear is going to happen. That's what we mean by
Oh,
that.
I broke my thread, I think. No, I didn't. Weird. It just felt like it. Anyway, this comes back to if you've done any apparel sewing, you'll understand that. We learned to sew with apparel. So as much as we don't do it anymore, it's still the voice in my head. So,
Well, to the point that when I'm doing an outer border or something, I will backstitch sometimes.
right, the very edge.
That very edge piece, just because I know when I go to put on the long arm, that's where the tension's going to happen, and it's
Right.
that's where my seams are going to pull across.
All the
apart.
other seams have finished edges,
Yeah.
except for that one.
The other seams all do finish. Mm-hmm. So she's going to go ahead and box the other.
But when we quilt, we don't back tack.
Yeah.
Or when we piece,
we're
we don't
piecing,
back tack.
Yeah. We're
We
just
don't
gonna
do
be
it.
nice and not pull on our seams.
Right.
And the reason we don't do that, you guys, in quilting while we're piecing is because, Jen and I have talked about it before, thread adds bulk. Matter doesn't just go away.
Matter never
when
disappears.
I'm adding a layer of matter,
Thread.
which is thread,
Substance.
substance to our seam, I'm increasing the bulk. And so if I'm going back and forth and back, then I've increased it 3 times instead of 1.
And then it's uneven.
And then that thread's going to take up more space in that seam. And if you're going for super accuracy with tiny piecing or something, that little bit
It can throw it off.
can really throw it off.
Especially added over time. You know, a 32nd of an inch off. Again and again and again and again and again and again and again. Adds up.
But I've made blocks with 100 pieces just in that one block. And
Right.
so if all of my little 100 pieces are in that block are off by a 32nd of an inch, my block all of a sudden is 1/2 of an inch too small.
Right. And you're like, wait, I was accurate. It really is the little things. All right, we boxed it. Let's turn it right side out, shall
I'm
we?
going to open it up to do that.
Yep. Open the zipper. I love the cork pull tabs. It's my new favorite thing
The things we think about
when we're driving,
on our way to do something we had already planned.
right? It's like, oh, do this. Don't forget to bring some fabric for pull tabs.
Just kidding.
Just kidding. Mine must have been a little bit shorter.
Yep.
This one's a little bit taller than the one I made the other day, or the other week.
So yeah, so here's
Still totally a good
our
pencil
cute
bag.
little boxy pencil pouch. This one's apparently a long rectangle. You box your corners. Yeah, you must have used a wider piece of cork.
I must have.
Something. Anyway,
It's
adorable.
This is what 9 by 11 will get you. But actually, if I were to do it again, because it is a little bit smaller, I would do a 1-inch corner.
Yeah,
instead of
just
1
box
1/4.
the corners a little bit smaller.
But it's fun to play with boxing it because it changes the whole shape of the bag.
Yeah, otherwise we're talking a super flat pouch to like stick in a binder, whereas this is...
It'll stand up.
Yes, it's adorable. So this is actually going to be, we're going to write up instructions. It's going to be the free pattern for our newsletter for September.
Right?
In about a week when we get it out. Sorry guys, we're struggling.
It'll happen.
It's going to happen. And like I said, you can get these sheets of cork at the shop. We have our rainbow metallic and just gold metallic. If
also,
rainbow is not
regular.
And regular cork that's not metallic and crazy if that's not your thing, which is fine.
But it's also awesome.
But I feel like for an elementary school teacher, and last year all of my kids had male teachers, and so I didn't want to give them stuff like this. But this year all my kids have female teachers again. So I'm like, yay, rainbows!
Bright, fun, crazy gifts.
Yeah. So that'll be fun. But thanks for joining us. Sorry about the technical difficulties. I have no control over Facebook. I wish.
Right. And we will have this pattern up very soon. So check our website for the free pattern and newsletter.
Also are selling cork by the rolls. We've got 12-inch rolls by 54.
It's a third yard, so 12 by 54.
That will make 5 of these bags. Exactly. Or half yards, which is 18 by 54. And those are available in the shop as well.
Right.
So thanks, guys.
Enjoy. Bye, guys.